All right.
Hey, Brian.
I'm going to be cognizant
There
of
we are.
everybody's time. I just want to welcome everybody to the March 24th Band of Brothers. Our speaker tonight is a wonderful man, Dr. Drew Henderson. I got to share the stage with him at the council's philosophy night in 2023,
Yep.
and I was very impressed with Drew's ability to share his heart. So, what I was really impressed with was he is very when you look him up, all you get is North Georgia philosophical chiropractor. There's a
Yeah,
lot we could say about it, but I think that really just can't.
that's right, man.
It
That's
basically
what
just
it
tells
is.
everybody they need to know about Drew. So, Drew, the floor is yours, buddy.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm Drew Henderson. I'm a product of North Georgia. I am a product of Dynamic Essentials. Um, I don't know where I'd be without a handful of people, and one of those being Dr. Sid, and I appreciate this mission that we're on. I appreciate the calling that we have. I'm blessed that I'm able to fulfill my calling. I know a lot of people are not able to. Um, I'm eyeball deep in this thing that we call chiropractic, right? Um, Board of DE, Vice President of Georgia Council of Chiropractic, everything else, like it's just something every weekend it seems like, and I love it. It's good to be a part of something that's bigger than we are. It's always good to be a part of the Band of Brothers. It don't matter what chapter it is. It's great to be a part of Band of Brothers. I'm thankful for Dr. Dick Santo, Richard J. Santo, from originally New Jersey, then Tequesta, Florida, that gave that Band of Brothers talk. It changed my life and lives of thousands others because not only from our meetings, but then when we get back on point and then we leave and we go back and serve our patients, we're we're just better. The community is better. I know Band of Brothers is a refuge for me. The something takes place that empowers us to be able to walk the walk. It's easy to talk the talk, but when you stay connected, you stay with each other, with your brothers and sisters. And it's Band of Brothers, but it has nothing to do with gender, right? That's just what it's called. Um, but the Band of Brothers, DE, and my people that I have in those places are they help me walk the walk, and I'm thankful that God has made this so simple. It's a very simple thing of what we do and what we have, but I'm thankful He's made it so simple that a wayfaring man like me and somebody as unintelligent as me can grasp it. And if I can grasp it, I know the people out there can grasp it when we tell them the truth. And the book I read the most, it says when we're overwhelmed to seek to lead me to a rock that is higher than I, and and life can be going smooth sometimes, and then in a split second it turn upside down. Life changes in an instant, and we're frail, we're fragile, but I'm thankful that we have each other. It's not a question of if, but when you're going to get knocked down. We're going to get knocked down. The moment we get knocked down, and there's storms all around us, we know that what we do is bigger than just what we're going through. And I've thankfully been through some storms. If you haven't learned from those people that have, and I would say most of us have, and in times of darkness, my people have been a shelter for me. And the people here, the people, Band of Brothers and other places, DE, they have helped bring me through hard times. They have taught me that when I'm going through hell to hold my head up high. don't look down. Um, we walk by faith, not by sight. I've been blessed. I grew up on a farm, was blessed to raise some sweet potatoes, some pumpkins, sorghum, corn, made a little bit of a living. It wasn't much of a living, but it was a little bit, and my favorite time of the day was, especially like in the winter, we'd always have hogs, so we would take whatever we had for supper that night, um, put it in like a bucket or whatever, and take it out to feed the hogs. Um, you know, that's what you call slopping the hogs. We'd go slop the hogs. My my dad would be on one side, my daddy on one side, my older brother, my only sibling on the other side. I'd be walking in between them, and sometimes you could hear, I don't know if it was just real thick frost or just like a little bit of snow on the ground, but you could hear that crunch walking out through there. And I felt safer those nights, and we could hear coyotes and everything else, but I felt safer those nights than anywhere else in the world with 100 armies around me to protect me. I felt safe there, and I feel that way um, with my friends. I feel with my real friends. There are not many of them. I feel that way with my Band of Brothers people. I feel that way with my DE people. Um, that protection is important. We need to feel protected and safe so we can be who we are. And we know people. We all know them. It could be some of y'all. I don't know. That can sell horns off a billy goat. I can't. I'm not a salesman. Um, I suck at it. I'm like, hey, this is what we do. If you want it, you can have it. This is what it's going to cost you. If you don't want it, good luck to you. But I just make sure we try to make sure that we explain clearly what we do, what we don't do, and why we do and why we don't do it. And then we let them make their choice. But we don't sell anything in the office. The only thing we try to sell is the person's uh, the person on themselves and their ability to heal when they don't have any nerve system interference. That's what we try to sell. This boy I went to school with, not chiropractic school, like K through 12 school, like all through all 13 years of that. Um, I saw him, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. He's talking about his kids not being so healthy and they're sick. And I'm like, dude, you need to bring them in the office. Bring them in. I'll meet you Saturday or whenever. He's like, oh man, they don't hurt. They're okay. I'm like, dude, listen to me. I told him, I said, if I cut your arm right now, right? If I cut your arm, you're going to heal up. 2 minutes later, if I cut your arm, you're not going to heal up. Why is that? Because life is not in you anymore. That life is what heals us. Nothing else. Nothing else heals us. That life inside of us. The only thing that we do as chiropractors is remove interference to that expression of life. When we do that, we've got the best chance to heal that we're going to have. Period. Then I told him, I said, Jason, if I cut off your finger, are you going to be you? He said, yeah, I guess so. I said, all right, so what if I cut off both hands? You still going to be you? He said, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's up it. Say if I cut off both arms, both legs, you still going to be you? He said, yeah. He's getting a little frustrated. I'm like, all right, last time. If I cut off both arms, both legs, pluck your eyes out, cut your tongue out with a knife, put a screwdriver in your ear so you're deaf, would you still be you? He said, yeah. And I'm like, all right, so now you have to decide, are you just the body that's animated by the power, or are you the power that animates the body? We're the power. That's what we are. We're the power. And when we get people into that and know that, their life can change. It can. We see it, y'all see it every day. Their life will change. And somebody said the other day that like, oh, I've been drinking water and exercising. That's why whatever's better. And I'm like, are you sure about that? Because you've been drinking water, you've been exercising. What started changing is when you started getting adjusted. It will never be just the adjustment unless it's just the adjustment. That's all it is. If I had a medicasylator, put them on that thing, it would be the medicasylator. It's what healed them. But we know it's not. It's not even the adjustment. The adjustment just allows the healing to take place. And I know that, you know, to get to where we need to be, we need to let go of our past, our wins, our losses. You have to, and maybe your past is what's keeping you from being that great chiropractor that you've always dreamed of. I'm still dreaming. I want to get better. I want to do better. I want to put in the work. Like I was telling somebody this week, I forget who it was this weekend. Yesterday we had a GCC spring fling Saturday and Sunday. I had to teach Georgia law and jurisprudence, whatever, yesterday morning. Telling somebody that, I'm just me, but you won't outwork me. I don't care to work. I mean, I'll work as long as I need to. But I know some people, maybe even on this call, I don't know, would love to step up to that abundant life. And I'm not talking about being able to buy a boat. I mean that real abundance from inside out, that lasting purpose abundance of giving, loving, serving, doing out of your own abundance with no expectation of return. And but our past is keeping us there. Our past is not letting us, and we can't seem to shake our past. The failures that we've had, the shame that we felt, the way a parent has treated you. You may be living in the present, but the past rules the day. Your past tells you that you're no good. Your past tells you that you're worthless. It tells you that not to expect anything good in life. Your past tells you that there's no hope for you, that you're useless, that you can't trust anybody, and your past is the Lord of your present and your future. But just if you confront that past, you stare at the giant, and you decide today that it's going to fall. Just it's going to fall. And how do we do that? How do we do that? We break the narrative. Forever I was Jimmy's son. That's my dad, and Sam's little brother. That's who I was. Jimmy's son and Sam's brother, and that's okay. Like I don't mind that narrative, but there's other narratives that may not be so good. You could be called the ugly duckling, the good-looking one, the flirt, the cut-up, the jokester, the liar, the troublemaker, the bad kid, the one that's a little slow, the dork, and now, we may have that inner child bubbling up, and we get a little uncomfortable thinking about that stuff. But we have to lay down that narrative. We have to put, we just have to put it down. We pick up the narrative that we're a principled chiropractor, that we're correcting the cause of dis-ease. And you don't give a damn what anybody thinks of that. That's a narrative we got to pick up. We got to invest in a bigger picture and less personal boasting, right? Like you have this, I have that. Like, oh, we did it all by myself. You didn't do it all by yourself. None of us have. Like we just haven't. It's if we're as hardcore as we say we are, we're going to be mocked and ridiculed and laughed at. if we really are, and we have to stop the blame game. You might have come from a broken home. You might have been mistreated by somebody, um, somebody that you trusted. You might have dealt with some disadvantage your whole life, some physical or mental disadvantage, dyslexia, whatever. Um, you don't just forget those things and move on, but you cannot continue to blame others for your life. We got to give it up. And the longer we blame anything and everything, the longer we're going to stay locked up in the past. And when we're do that, we're unable to step into the future, because there's a future prepared for us. We just got to be ready for that. We got to step into that. You got to believe in the vision of the far, beyond like what we can see. I guess we got to have faith. That's a simpler way of saying that. And anybody that knows me just a little knows my brother I was talking about. Lost him 16 years ago. Had a brain tumor. To this day, I don't understand why my brother died. Right. Now, and I don't believe that everything happens for a reason. I think that's just bad theology. You know, everything doesn't happen for a reason. Some things just happen, just the way it is. But what happened, my parents and I had to step into a new reality. One without him there, one without Sam there. And to this day, we don't know why. And that's okay. And through the years looking for the why, I got further and further away from the life I was called to live. All because I didn't know the why. We ask why all the time. Like, why did this office not work? Why did I fail here? Why did he cheat on me? Why did she cheat on me? Why did my parents get divorced? Why did that person have to touch me that way? Why did kids have to make fun of me when I was growing up? Why did I never finish school? It's just why? We look at our situation, we look at our past, and we get stuck on the why. And I'm telling you, Dave, you got to lay that down and start believing in the what and the who. Your past might have you on one road, but this thing we have, I mean, it can put you on another road. Like tonight, you don't have to wait till some Tony Robbins thing and you're out like beating sticks and stuff. You don't have to wait on that. You don't have to be known for your losses. You don't have to be known for your failures. You don't have to be known as a girl from a broken home. You don't have to be known as a boy who couldn't get a date. You don't have to be known by your greatest failure. You don't have to be known by your biggest mistake. It's time we just get our stuff together. It don't matter what other people have called us. It don't matter what they call us. It matters what we answer to. That you can be known as who you are. You can be known as a principled chiropractor, capital TOR. Your past don't have to have a hold of you anymore. You can break free from those chains, and you can claim victory and step into who we're called to be. The good, the bad, the ugly. You've got to put your past down. Even if you're a football star, you're not anymore. You're not anymore. You're not that big high school boy on campus. You're not the number one cheerleader anymore. We got to put that stuff down. But it's not easy. It's not easy. But the good news is there's help. I know everybody on here will help each other do that. They will help. We can become overcomers. We all have been. Like, look where we're at. I could not imagine my life being the way it is 30 years ago. I'm 48, so that would put me at 18. Man, I cannot imagine this. I'm blessed beyond belief. But love changes it all. You know, I'm gonna say this, and that's it. But there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out all fear. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and a strong mind. If you got to change some crap in your life, it's time to do it now. And if you think you got it all together, we really got to change some stuff in our life. Like we don't have our crap together. Not a single one of us. We're all just trying to get through this thing and do better and be better and serve better and just love better. You know, so if anybody needs anything, I'm here. I love you and I appreciate you.
Hey,
I
Drew, I
think
just
that's
want
all
to
I
tell
got.
you, and I do these things all the time, and this is some of the most notes I think I've ever taken. Something
Huh?
that you said, let go of your past that prevents your dream, and you said you're still dreaming. I want to
Yes.
thank you for walking and building that dream, baby. And I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I learned a lot about you. I see Brickyard Road behind you there tonight, so I know that you're
Oh yeah,
in it. I know
that's
where that
it, man.
song comes from.
Yep,
Anybody
yep,
else, please share our love with Drew. I mean, this was amazing tonight.
Drew,
It was
yep.
thank,
That's
definitely a reminder of what is necessary for spirit.
Drew, thank you so much for sharing your heart, man.
man. Thank y'all.
We really
Thank
appreciate it.
y'all.
Special.
No, man, we love you. I will see you a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, we'll be together.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Look forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Doc.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Drew.
Oh, I see you now. I couldn't see.
Thank you for sharing tonight.
Oh, no, thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Said a few things I definitely needed to hear. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Awesome. You're welcome.
Drew, I could go on and add another 20 minutes to what you just said, but I won't because it's your night. We just had a week and a half ago, the Chiropractic Fellowship of Pennsylvania did a much shorter version of reproduction of some of the things we did at the Sigafus Gathering seminars years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the most powerful thing we did, Selena and I kind of led everybody through it, was we call it the Circle of Forgiveness. And Cecil Collins used to do that. Dick Santo used to be there, and Sig. And forgiving yourself is probably the hardest thing a lot of us have to do. And for letting those things come in and take us over, because when we are consumed by our demons and our ghosts from the past, we cannot move forward, as you were saying. Yep. And we had some major breakthroughs sitting in that circle, just somebody verbalizing and knowingly forgiving someone or themselves for letting them not live their life. And Sharon Gorman wrapped the whole evening up and talked about not letting people steal your joy. Mm-hmm. And that's what we let happen. We let these outside in voices and people bring us down and make us think bad or poorly about ourselves. And we got to keep our self-esteem up, because we have worth, we have value, and we are here for a purpose, and a really big purpose. So thank you for reaffirming all that stuff, Drew.
That's right. And like I always say a lot of times, I'm not usually too happy. I'm usually pissed off about something, but I've got joy that nobody can touch. My joy is it's untouchable, you know, and like true forgiveness comes like after repentance. You know, if we're like, you go to your brother, you go to your sister, like, shit, you know, I'm sorry about that. Like, we're called to forgive them. You know, we're called to. Good to see you, my man.
That's a spiritual truth.
Yeah.
This was amazing tonight, and it doesn't matter whether you're DE, New Beginnings, philosophically based chiropractic, or all heart. And I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight.
No, Drew, man, thank y'all a lot.
Bottom of my heart, man. Thank you so much, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see y'all.
Thank you.
Love you, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah, love y'all too.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.